Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. All right, the Tampa Bay Lightning are on their way back to their third straight Stanley Cup final appearance. Now, with this appearance, they have a chance to put themselves into immortality and cement themselves as one of the greatest hockey dynasties that the NHL has ever seen. And they also can be the first team since the 1980s Islanders to three-peat, when the Islanders four-peated back from 1980 to 1983. Now, in this series, they were down 2-0, and they absolutely willed their way back to win 4 straight to move on. And they absolutely said, screw you, New York, because this was one of the most shocking things that Tampa has probably done in their playoff career, because now they have won 11 straight playoff series. And they have done this, especially in the last 2 series against the Panthers and the Rangers. They did this without Braden Point. The Tampa Bay Lightning are a lot better than people think, because if they were fully healthy, some of these series would be a completely different result. But here's the thing. In this series, they were down 2-0 and decided to say, screw you to New York, and absolutely willed their way back to win 4 straight games to move on to the 2022 Stanley Cup Final to take on the Colorado Avalanche. And the Colorado Avalanche are in their first Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2001, when they had Joe Sakic, Patrick Waugh, and Ray Bourque. Now, the Lightning's goalie, Andrei Vasilevskiy, has been an absolute wall unit. This dude cannot be scored on when it comes to series clinching games, because now, since 2020, he is only allowed 2 goals in series clinching games. It has a .991 save percentage. Nearly perfect. You cannot get better than what Andrei Vasilevskiy has done in the playoffs. And now Andrei Vasilevskiy has got with this series win, he got his 61st playoff victory. And his 60th win came in 97 games. Now, here's the even crazier part. Martin Brodeur is looked at and is most likely, depending on who you ask, because some people might say it's Dominik Hasek, some people might say it's Martin Brodeur as the greatest hockey goalie ever. And Martin Brodeur has 691 wins, but here's the crazy part. Andrei Vasilevskiy got 60 playoff wins, 3 games faster than Martin Brodeur, and did it in 97 games. Vasilevskiy has been an absolute unit for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he is one, if not the biggest reason on why the Tampa Bay Lightning were able to come back and win these 4 straight games. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, they won the Game 6, and they won the final game 2-1 to clinch the series and go on to that Stanley Cup. And in this game, Tampa's defense was absolutely tremendous, not letting the Rangers get past them in any way, and constantly being in their offensive zone, because in the last 2 games, they have significantly been in the offensive zone of New York's than New York has been in theirs a lot longer. It's by like at least 5 or 6 minutes. It's been absolutely crazy. And because of this Tampa defense, Vasilevskiy was barely tested in Game 6. The Rangers gave him a little run for his money in Game 5, but was not tested, and barely even tested in Game 6, as they only put 21 shots on him. Now, the Rangers are a very, very talented team with their kid line and the veterans that they have from Adam Fox, Igor Shesterkin, Artemi Panarin, Mike Zibanejad. This New York Rangers team is a very good hockey team. They just can't beat Tampa in the Eastern Conference Finals, as Tampa has now beaten a New York team 3 straight years in a row to get to the Stanley Cup Final. It's been absolutely ridiculous for what Tampa has done. And as for the Rangers, they just ran out of gas. But they are, like I said, a very, very talented team, and they definitely have the Stanley Cup victory in their near future. Now let's see if they can get there, because New York, especially any New York team, the Islanders or the Rangers, they have been in the finals multiple times over the last 10 years, and they just can't seem to hit the punch and get to that finish line and get to the Stanley Cup Final. One of these years, it's going to happen. In my opinion, I say it's going to be the Rangers first because of how much talent that they have, especially the young talent with that kid line. But here's the thing. With Tampa, they are, like I said, they're on the verge of immortality. And also in this game, Steven Stamkos was their all-star as he scored both goals for them to put them on top. Now, going into the Stanley Cup Final, what to expect from going with the Colorado Avalanche, going against the Tampa Bay Lightning? Expect brutality, great offense and defense, and high-scoring games. Now, it may not be as high-scoring as what the Western Conference Finals were, where there was practically 4 or 5 goals for each team every single game, but it's not going to be like that. This game is going to be, like I just said, brutality with fierce competition, and we're going to watch superstars all over the place, from Cale Makar defending Victor Hedman to Nathan McKinnon covering Nikita Kucherov. We are in for a great series, and like high scoring has it written all over the place. Now, high scoring is what the Atlanta Braves have done all summer since June 1st, as they have now won 10 games in a row. And during this 10-game win streak, they have nearly scored 7 runs a game by scoring a total of 69 runs, 6.9 runs a game. They have made pitchers in the summer of who they face scared for their life to pitch against them, especially with 3 of their players that's been absolutely dominant for them. But and also during this 10-game win streak, they have scored 10 plus runs 3 times. They scored 13 twice and 10 runs 1 time. That's been their highest scoring game throughout this 10-game winning streak. And their all-stars and their best players through this 10-game win streak has been Dansby Swanson, Matt Olson, and Ozzie Albies. As Albies has gotten 11 RBIs, Olson has gotten 8 RBIs, and Swanson has gotten 9 RBIs. Complete, utter domination, pulling runs in game after game after game. And their 10th win came against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and this victory ended up being 10-4, which sealed the series victory in a 4-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Atlanta Braves are absolutely dominant, and in this Pittsburgh Pirates Atlanta Braves game, this game started off very dominant in the first inning because 4 players hit a total of 4 home runs in the first inning. It ended up being 2-2, and the lead just kept switching back and forth. It ended up being 2-0 Pittsburgh, 2-2 to tie it up. Then it was 4-2 Pittsburgh, then it was 6-4 Atlanta. then at the bottom of the 7th inning, Ozzy Albies decided to say game over and hit a grand slam to seal the deal and win the game 10-4, getting the 33rd win of the season for the Braves. Now, the NBA title, this NBA title, Steph Curry's legacy might change forever because he has been absolutely ridiculous on the scoring entourage that he's been on. He has scored 34.3 points a game. And here's a little crazy fact throughout this entire series. With Curry scoring 34.3 points a game, he's actually scoring more points than Jason Tatum's field goal percentage, as he's at 34.1. That's how crazy Steph Curry has been. But on the other side, with Jason Tatum, he still needs to work on his shot selection, as it hasn't been too great. Because the way he has scored 25 to 28 points through every game, but he can score more if he doesn't, if on some of these shots he's just deciding to shoot it up, hoping it would go in as just a random shot. But here's the thing. With this series, the trend decided to continue, as each winner has still won by 10 plus points or more, and now the average margin of victory is 14.2 points a game. That's the margin of victory so far, as the Warriors tied it up at 2 games apiece, winning against the Boston Celtics 107-97. And yes, the Warriors did win by 10 points, but this game was close the entire time. The Celtics defense is just crazy good, but when you got Steph Curry on the floor, this dude just can't be stopped in this final series. He's been automatic from anywhere he shoots the ball, especially game 5. And game 4. And game 4 was a little bit ridiculous on the foul side. There were so many missed calls. Yes, it's great for the refs to shut up and just let the Warriors or let the teams play it out, but there were a lot of obvious calls that should have been made, and there were a lot of obvious non-calls that should have not been made. It was like totally flipped. But here's the thing. We're going into game 5 now, and it's going back to Golden State, and no team has won back-to-back games yet, and we're going to Golden State now in game 5. Can Golden State be the first team in this series to win back-to-back games, to potentially solidify as them winning their 4th title in 8 years? Who knows how this game 5 is going to go, because game 4 was absolutely insane to watch. But yes, it was won by 10 points, but that was because it was towards the end of the game, when it was in the final 2 to 5 minutes, and the Celtics were just constantly fouling and just making the Warriors go to the line and hit those free throws, which dragged the lead to open even more. Now, the Celtics duo, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, have been absolutely phenomenal, with Marcus Smart's defense leading the way, and their Celtics defense have been on an absolute rampage, doing everything that they can to stop Steph Curry, sometimes putting 3, sometimes putting 4, and sometimes the entire squad is on Steph Curry, and they still can't stop the dude. It's like Steph Curry is just a different breed. And he dropped 43 points in this game, just to show as it is of how dangerous Steph Curry is when he gets into God mode. This dude is just unfreaking stoppable. Handling, shooting skills, the Celtics need to figure out how to find a way to stop Steph Curry in any way possible, because they have yet to do it. And once they do that, that's what might change the series, and potentially with them winning. I still have the Warriors winning in 7, and like I said, this is going to be a seesaw series. And how it's looking, it may or may not no team may not win back-to-back games, but who knows? Every single game is different. And this NBA title series has been a great one, but the Warriors are looking like that they are going to be the team to win in 7 games, with potentially this game 5 being the true difference maker. And if the Celtics don't stop Steph Curry, it's going to be over in 6. 100%, but also at the same time, there is no way that for how great the series has been, the Warriors are going to win 3 games in a row. The Celtics defense is just too good in this NBA title game. And speaking of titles, the 2022 women's track and field team, Florida Gators track and field team, has won last night the national title, and their total score was 74 points, and they won the whole thing by 10 points. And the coolest thing about this entire thing is that the very last race, a collegiate record was almost broken in the 4x400 race. When the Gators didn't win the last race, the Kentucky Wildcats did. And based on when it comes to true second and minimal and the tiniest second ever, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, stuff like that, that is forever when it comes to racing. But in real time, right now, that is absolutely nothing. And what happened was, and what the time was, is that Kentucky nearly broke that record. They were 0.62 of a second behind from breaking that record. It was very close. It was a crazy race and tournament to watch. Congratulations, Florida Gators, on your national championship. Now, speaking of true victory, Tiger Woods has victorized himself in golf and cemented himself in golf legacy forever as the greatest golfer, as we all know. And as of a couple of days ago, his net worth is now $1 billion. And there's no reason to explain that, because we all know why he is worth that much. Greatest golfer ever, and what he has done throughout his entire golf legacy and career. And now he is the 3rd player in sports history to become a billionaire athlete. And that just shows, let alone of him for what he's done throughout his golf career, that's another reason on showing how truly great and how much he has owned the golf game his entire life. Now, speaking of ownership, Peyton Manning has been offered a job by the new owners, the Walter Penner Group, that just bought the Denver Broncos for $4.65 billion, and they want to put Peyton Manning on an advisory role to have some type of play and ownership into this new Denver Broncos team. Now, this is going to be really interesting. Can you imagine Peyton Manning giving advice to Russell Wilson or some of these young guys? This is going to be crazy if he accepts the job, because he has yet to do it, but they did offer Peyton Manning at that advisory role if he wants to do it. But that's up to him, because he does have that Peyton and Eli show with his brother on Monday Night Football. So we'll see how this is all going to turn out come towards closer and closer to the new NFL season. Is he potentially maybe going to switch over to this ownership and just do that, or is he possibly going to do both? We will definitely find out in the coming months. All right, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports media. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news whatsoever. And I'm out.